Hello everybody. I'm just gonna do what I did last month as a wrap up and a TBR together. So why don't we just jump into the July wrap up? The first book I actually finished from May was the Junior Classic Edition reading of Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I think most of us actually know what this story is about. I'm just not going to summarize it. I gave that a 3 out of 5 stars. It was just pretty good, but it wasn't kind of the classics I'm used to reading. And then the next book I read was Cinder. No, you guys can see that, by Marissa Myers, the first book in the Lunar Chronicles. I personally fell in love with this book, and I need to get the rest of them to read it. I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. The last physical book I read for last month is, of course, everybody knows this, The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. And I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. And for the audiobooks that I have read, which was Everland, which is a dystopian book, retelling of Peter Pan, and I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. And I want to read the other 2 books, or at least listen to them. The next book I read, or listened to, was Sky in the Deep. It's about a historical fiction retelling of the Vikings. I, of course, gave that 5 out of 5 stars, and I actually absolutely love that book, and I want to go get it. And the last book I read for last month was My Plain Jane, and I gave that 3.75 out of 5 stars. It's a retelling of Jane Eyre, needless to say. No offense, but it was not really my favorite. And as for this month's TBR, I'm currently reading 2 books and listening to 2 audiobooks. The 2 audiobooks I am reading are Truly Devious, a Mystery. I am currently on chapter 16, and that seems like a pretty good book. Not really in my taste of reading, but still, it's a good book. The next one is, of course, the sequel to Daughter of the Siren Queen. I'm on chapter 11, and I'm currently loving it. The physical book I am reading, well, 2 of them are Brightly Burning by Alexander Dawn, or Xandra, or however you want to pronounce it. I'm on page 80, chapter 8. And so far, it's a pretty good book. And yes, I'm still reading Catching Fire by Susan Collins. I entered chapter 5 the other day, and I'm still on page 64 of chapter 5. I need to start reading that. And then the other 2 books, or 3 books really want to get read this month is The Vikings Chosen by Quinn Loftus, and it's basically also a historical fiction where Vikings try to do a raid on England and marry the eldest princess from this country, from England. Sounds good. And then everybody's popular book, and yeah, I'm literally late behind on reading almost anything, unless there's a few coming from this year or last year. Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi. I just really need to get to this one. And then the second book of this series is Unraveling Me by Taharu Mafi, and I want to see if I can actually get to these books this month. I may pick up more audio books to read. Yeah, I just really want to crack down some books, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books I want to get to this month. Hopefully I can get to a bit more, even though it's like audiobooks and everything. So I will let you guys know where I am either later, actually sometime next week, to see if I've finished anything. Bye!